Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it.
What's good, gang? I hope you're all well and had a wonderful week. Thank you for being back here with me, Jade on Jade Hope TV. Gang, how are you liking this series, Underrated Characters in the Bible? I have a special one for you today. It's actually going to be two parts. Today, we're talking about Abigail. You know what time it is. Let's get into it! And there was a man in Mayon whose business was in Carmel. The man was very rich and he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. He was sharing his sheep in Carmel. Now the name of the man was Nabal and the name of his wife Abigail. The woman was discerning and beautiful, but the man was harsh and badly behaved. He was a Calebite. David heard in the wilderness that Nabal was sharing his sheep. So David sent 10 young men, and David said to the young men, "Go up to Carmel and go to Nabal and greet him in my name. And thus you shall greet him, peace be upon you, and peace be to your house, and the peace be to all that you have. I hear that you have shearers. Now your shepherds have been with us, and we did them no harm, and they missed nothing all the time they were in Carmel. Ask your young men, and they will tell you. Therefore let my young men find favor in your eyes, for we come on a feast day. Please give whatever you have at hand to your servants and to your son David." When David's young men came, they said all this to Nabal in the name of David, and then they waited. And Nabal answered David's servants, "Who is this David? Who is the son of Jesse? There are many servants these days who are breaking away from their masters. Shall I take my bread and my water and my meat that I've killed for my sharers and give it to men who come from I do not know where?" So David's young men turned away and came back and told him all this. And David said to his men, "Every man strap on his sword." And every man of them strapped on his sword. David also strapped on his sword. And about 400 strapped on his sword. And about 400 men went up after David, while 200 remained with the baggage.
Wait. We got to drop a pin. We got to drop her pin. We got to drop her pin.
Yo, when David was like,
strap on your sword.
and he didn't even say nothing else. It's like, strap on your sword. Like, they want, like, it's time. It's up. It's time for, they're about to get this smoke. Yo, so let's break it down. David is now fled because Saul's trying to kill him, which we'll talk about in another video. And so he's living like out, in the wilderness. He's got an army of men that have been following him. He's been protecting Nabal's people from just harm. Since they've been following him, they've been protected. It's been like protection to them. So David is basically asking Nabal, can we get some food? Can we just get a little bit of, hospitality on a feast day? So the feast days were special, so they would have needed to, someone to cook up for them and stuff like that. And so Nabal, he's just like,
Who are you? I don't know who you are. You could be anybody. Nah. Why should I give you my things? You know what I'm saying?
and so with David hears now, because remember David sent blessings as well. David was calm, peace be unto your house. Like David was being nice and calm to him. So when he got that message back from his servants, David was vexed. He's like,
Oh yeah. Oh okay. I said no problem. I got you.
So that's where we are so far. One of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, "Behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to greet our master, and he railed at them. Yet the men were very good to us, and we suffered no harm, and we did not miss anything when we were in the fields, as long as we went with them. They were a wall to us, both by night and by day, all the while we were with them, keeping the sheep. Now therefore, know this, and consider what you should do. For harm is determined against our master and against all his house. And he is such a worthless man that one cannot speak to him."
Yo, Nabal was bugging. Like everyone knows Nabal's worthless.
Everyone's just chatting about Nabal's a worthless man. Imagine that's the reputation. Imagine that's the reputation you have. That's sad. Even his servants knew he was a worthless man. And they couldn't even chat to him. That's why they went to Abigail to talk to her. Imagine. Yo. Verse 18. Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 skins of wine and 5 sheep, already prepared, and 5 seahs of parched grain, and 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of figs, and laid them on donkeys. And she said to her young men, "Go on before me. Behold, I come after you." But she did not tell her husband Nabal. And as she rode on the donkey and came down under cover of the mountain, behold, David and his men came down toward her, and she met them. Now David had said, "Surely in vain have I guarded all that this fellow has in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that belonged to him, and he has returned me evil for good. God do so to the enemies of David, and more also, if by morning I leave so much as one male of all who belong to him." We need to drop a pin again. So, David was vexed. David was about to slaughter everybody in the man's whole camp, everybody, for the disrespect, because it was disrespectful. So Abigail, basically, after hearing what the servant said, Abigail's rushed down there with some supplies, because she knows that her husband is a foolish man. And so she's rushed down to meet David. Picking up at verse 23. When Abigail saw David, she hurried and got down from the donkey, and fell before David on her face, and bowed to the ground. She fell at his feet and said, "On me alone, my lord, be the guilt. Please let your servant speak in your ears, and hear the words of your servant. Let not my lord regard this worthless fellow Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him. But I, your servant, did not see the young men of my lord whom you sent. Now then, my lord, as the Lord lives, and as your soul lives, because the Lord has restrained you from blood guilt and from saving with your own hand. Now then, let your enemies and those who seek to do evil to my lord be as Nabal. And now let this present that your servant has brought to you, my lord, be given to the young men who follow my lord. Please forgive the trespass of your servant, for the Lord will certainly make my lord a sure house, because my lord is fighting the battles of the Lord, and evil shall not be found in you so long as you live. If men rise up to pursue you and to seek your life, the life of my lord shall be bound in the bundle of the living, in the care of the Lord your God. And the lives of your enemies he shall sling out as from the hollow of a sling. And when the Lord has done to my lord according to all the good that he has spoken concerning you, and has appointed you prince over Israel, my lord shall have no cause of grief or pangs of conscience for having shed blood without cause, or for my lord working salvation himself. And when the Lord has dealt well with my lord, then remember your servant." Let's drop a pin. So Abigail is amazing. Like, she's so wise. She's a wise woman, right? She's gone. She sent her servants ahead with some gifts, and now she's putting up on David, like, by herself with even more gifts. And she's just basically dropped to his feet, and is just telling him, "Listen,
Like, my husband's a fool. His name even means he's a fool. Don't be guilty of killing people today just because of him. He's a fool. Please accept my apology. Please let it be on me. I'm so sorry that's happened. I know that you've done great by our servants and you've took care of them, and thank you. Please forgive me."
She's also saying to him, "I know that you're fighting the Lord's battles, and that peace will be upon your whole house. The Lord is going to give you victory, and when you become king, don't forget me." That's basically what she's telling him. So she is I'm not going to say gassing him up, but she's gassing him up. You know what I'm saying? And remember, they said she was beautiful and discerning.
She's working brain. Like, she's gone there and she's, you know what I'm saying?
Some sweet words and trying to, gain forgiveness for her husband. So what do you think so far, gang? Story's not over, though. It's not over. I'm going to give you part 2 next week, and it gets juicy.
Juicy! It gets very juicy.
So let me know what you think about part 1, and make sure to be back next week for part 2. I love you guys, and let's not forget to walk this narrow path together. Peace.
Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it.